1943.
So, Mom, where are we?
Jesus,
We are
Mom, what's today?
October 25th, 2015.
Ooh,
Whose
is this Back to the Future?
Whose birthday was it?
It was Russell's birthday,
Okay.
Still is.
and we're talking about the night they got married, which is
72 years ago.
1943.
Would have been April, right?
May
May
the
7th.
1943. So, Mama, you were just dancing at your prom.
No, they
I know.
They didn't dance.
They
They
decided
were
2
eating.
days before.
All we
I
had was
just
a
wanted her to
supper.
say that.
All right.
Okay, so there you were at the supper.
What's like this?
And Russell goes, "Hey, Ree, you want to go get married or what?"
We already knew we had the
Okay.
license.
Hey, Ree, you ready? It's time.
And when was the baby due?
I have a question. Hold on.
That would be me.
That was 2
That's
years
what
later.
people kept checking on their calendar.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. 2 days before you decided to get married. Whose idea was that?
I guess so. I don't know.
Whose idea was that?
I have no
I was
idea.
probably great
Wouldn't you imagine that'd be both of us?
Well, yeah, it's
Well,
probably
no,
both
but
of them.
did you ask her or did you ask him?
I don't think women
I
could
think
much
back
propose
then
it
the
in
man had to
1943.
because
I
that
don't
wasn't
think the women
acceptable.
ever asked the man.
Okay, the man asked
Okay,
you.
the
Okay.
man asked the
All right,
So
woman.
let's
so we're at the
assume-
prom.
So you're sitting around and you said, "I have a good idea. Let's get married." And did you go, "What?"
Was there a ring?
I'm only 17.
No.
Oh, that doesn't matter.
Underage.
Okay, so you and Bruce and Julia.
No, it wasn't Bruce. It was
Arkansas.
Bruce.
It did what?
Went
Went
with
with
you.
you.
Yeah.
It was Bruce.
Judy, I know this.
Okay, but who was the other guy who has died now?
Maxine and Christine, one of Maxine or
No.
Christine went, didn't
And his
No.
wives, husbands.
Okay, you need to shut
Whoa.
up.
Yeah, let's not
go
get
to
home.
my beauty
Right.
shop.
Play that again. I'm lost.
Wanda.
Wait, that's a confusing
Huh.
story.
Wanda Eccles.
Okay, so you all go down
What's
there.
his name?
Buddy.
Buddy.
Buddy. I told you it was either Junior or
All right, Mom,
Buddy
I'm
or
gonna narrate
Sonny
now.
or
But he had
something.
Okay, hold on.
nothing
Bruce
to
and
do with it.
Julia.
Why don't y'all talk for a little bit? So what happened? This is during class or
Well, they want to eat. They want to eat their dinner.
You're Trig.
Well, what I want to know is why y'all didn't mention this to either one of your parents. Why did nobody's mom and daddy think this was a good idea?
I can
Because when
guess.
I wanted to get married, I told my mom and
Okay,
daddy.
let's hear
about it.
this. 17 years old, no job, nothing whatsoever.
And why'd you
Okay,
want
fair
Didn't even
enough.
know what you ended up.
to, and why'd you want to marry? Why'd you want to marry him?
I don't know.
He was the first person that asked.
We just,
Because he was the salutatorian of the class.
Oh, there you go.
The valedictorian was a woman.
He was smart. Well, no, it was my cousin.
Oh, well, there you go.
She couldn't marry him.
Could
so-
marry the
Couldn't
valedictorian.
marry him. Johnny Murphy.
Okay.
Okay, so we go down there. We get married. How long does that take?
Wait. So we're at the dance, the dinner.
Dinner.
Shaman under the dinner dance. See?
And where's Biff at this point?
She's determined we're going to dance.
Okay, you're not dancing.
Back to the Future
So after you eat, you say, "Okay, it's time. Let's go get married."
You already had this planned?
Yes.
I'm glad I'm
2
getting
days
this
before.
captured.
Well, you had to because you have to have a license.
So you knew. Who else knew when you showed up to the dinner? Who else knew that at 8 o'clock or whatever you were
Bruce
leaving?
and Julia.
We didn't know it, but our principal and his wife knew it.
Knew you were going.
Yes.
How did they know?
Okay.
Somebody told
Because a girl that's a friend of Julia's was taking music from Miss Love, the principal's wife. And she said, "Oh, Miss Love, I can't play anymore right now. I gotta tell you
I gotta go to
something."
Russell and Marie's
Said, "I gotta tell you something." And she said, "What?" And she said, "They got marriage license and they gonna get married Friday
Uh
night."
oh.
So
Loose lips, sink
she
ships.
said, "That's all the music."
So was that like a
So she got
scandal?
up and she went to the principal's office and told him.
Who is Fred Love?
Yeah.
And they didn't tell your parents? Why not?
Well, yes, he
Maybe
was.
their damn business.
Okay.
Well, one night apparently that way and that way, 25, 30 miles.
You could be 17 and get your own license.
Oh,
If-
not
If
legally.
you lie.
If you know that.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
Get this.
might be not be a real
We've
marriage.
always known that.
So it's not a real marriage?
No.
But y'all lied to
Are
get
we not
marriage
really
license.
here? Are we not really here?
Years
Oh, my hand's disappearing!
All those pictures.
Oh, pictures disappearing. We might not be here.
later, years later, we were sitting at
We're making this whole thing
And-
about
Y'all,
you.
y'all
a minute.
listen,
Listen,
y'all gotta
listen.
This is
listen.
important.
Alright,
story.
here we go.
the Attorney General of the state of Arkansas was there, and he was sitting there staring at them. Ree said, "What are you looking at?" I said, "I'm just looking at them little bastards."
That would be you and you.
Correct.
And I said, well, it is
No,
said that
that
it
wasn't
wasn't
Oh.
legal.
Oh, not me.
And he said, don't worry about it, I'll take care of it. And he did.
They passed a law and made it retroactive.
Wait,
He changed
they passed
the
an
law for
entire
you?
law for y'all?
I guess so. He said he'd take care of it, and he did.
Wow.
Bruce Bennett.
So originally it was invalid because y'all lied about your age to get the license.
Well, we thought
We
it
was
was.
17. We was 17, so it was 18.
Right.
So where did you go to get married?
Young City.
And
In
y'all,
Louisiana
Justice
part
of
of
the
it,
Peace
or-
did it?
No, it had been the Arkansas part.
And no one bothered to check
We
your
were
ID
Arkansas.
to see
Yeah,
how
I
old you
had
were?
Did
Why
they
did you go-
have
Nineteen
IDs?
45.
I don't know.
Why did you go to Junction City?
I don't know.
Where else?
El Dorado. What
What?
else?
I don't know.
Who drove?
The
Bruce,
horse.
I guess. I don't know.
Was the prom in
Y'all,
Norfolk?
listen, this
Oh,
is-
wait.
Yeah,
Yeah.
y'all did a bad
We
Well,
job.
haven't
it's
even
been
gotten
7 years.
to,
I have a
we haven't
question.
even gotten to the part that I've always wanted to know. The story really falls apart
Hold on.
here.
I'm not there yet. On the way to get married, were you guys drinking?
Well,
Were you drinking?
We weren't
No.
old enough to buy the
But you're old enough to get married. You can't
That
get.
didn't seem to stop you to get married.
Oh, they came by alcohol.
Also, currently, you can get married before you can buy liquor.
But also consider Ree Ree and Granddaddy went home to their respective
Okay,
parents.
that-
So now you're fast forwarding.
That, okay,
The night
now,
of
wait, wait, wait,
Okay,
now
It's
it's
good to
my
have this
turn.
documented.
So we show up sober and we get married.
Okay,
Did anyone have any second thoughts when you were standing there?
I guess not.
they don't remember that.
Oh, it was-
Riri wants to say something, but she's afraid to.
I don't guess we.
Was everyone else getting married illegally and underage at the time?
Nope, just them.
And nobody from the prom. Were y'all,
No,
the,
this
were
wasn't
y'all
some
the prom
popular thing to
queen and
do.
king? You should have been. Okay, this is what I want to know. Okay, so you're back at the prom. Did you go back to the prom?
We went back to a, what was that nightclub? That's where everybody went after the.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So you go back
Went
to
to
the
a-
after.
Wow.
Wait,
I
wait,
never
wait.
loved this.
Okay,
before.
Wait a minute,
Riri
Riri seems to remember
nightclub.
lots of stuff.
Okay, then it's time to go home. Oops, we don't have one. But so you go to Nenny's house and you go to Grandma Adams' house.
Yeah.
Is that how it went?
Yeah, 'cause Julia spent the night with me.
On your wedding night,
I
Julia
always
spent the
knew
night.
this.
On your
Okay,
wedding night, you had
then
another girl
Grandma
spend the night.
goes through your coat and finds the marriage license. Is that correct?
Morning,
The next,
The next morning. Okay. Then
And says,
what
"Oh,
happens?
what's this?
Yeah, what happened after that?
Oh, what have we have here?"
He called me and said, meet me in El Dorado at the picture show. We gotta start telling folks 'cause Mama found the license.
Okay, did Mama throw a fit when she found that?
No.
Like she didn't.
What'd she say?
Did Nanny throw a fit?
Yeah.
Nanny didn't
Nanny-
know.
Okay, Nenny didn't know at this point.
Did
So Grandma
Grandma
Adams
didn't
knows.
throw a
I told
None
him.
of them fussed.
All right, so y'all met at the picture show.
Oh, wait, but I have a question before you answer that. What was your goal? Were you hoping to not tell anybody?
For how long?
If it wasn't for the
Right.
the-
How long were y'all
Till
keeping this a secret?
graduation.
Okay.
2 weeks.
So just a couple weeks.
2 weeks
Alright.
from graduation. 3.
3.
Great. Okay.
So y'all
then
got
you were
married
gonna tell
before
everybody.
graduation.
But Grandma messed it up.
Y'all got married before graduation.
But we didn't have to go to school.
Of course.
We were
We didn't
exempt.
have to go to school.
We
Seniors
were
didn't have to go.
exempt.
Okay.
So what happened after Grandma
So-
Adams found the license?
And then y'all
I
meet.
went-
She
I
called
went
me.
down Red and then I went to Callion and we went back to Nellie now in the bedroom and told them.
And
And
both
what
of y'all
did they
together.
say?
And how did they take
Albert
it?
said she can't cook.
And Nelson said, that's all right. And Daddy said, it ain't son if you're hungry. I'll never forget him saying that.
But they weren't mad.
I never heard that. I missed it. Please tell me what they said. I went to rinse my plate.
So they go to they meet and they go to Nenny and Albie's. So they're in
funny.
the bedroom and both of them tell Nenny
I'm
and
gonna
Albie,
go to something
okay,
else.
we're married. And Albie said she can't cook. And Daddy said, well, it doesn't matter. And Albie said, it does if you're hungry.
I remember when you gave me that cookbook.
Okay.
Well, whatever it was
It
you
was like
liked.
a dinner.
It was just dinner.
We went to the
a
Randolph-
banquet, what they call
We
it.
called it the
Hotel.
senior
Hotel, and
banquet.
they'll
Yeah,
wait,
senior
they'll
banquet.
have dinner, that's all it was.
Senior
No
banquet.
limos were going on.
We
Now,
called it the senior
Let me
banquet.
tell you what one of the teachers,
I had a problem.
I did too.
he got up and told that night before we went and got married, he said, Russell and Ree was thinking about getting married, I forgot his go.
He said that?
Yeah,
Well,
but
wait a
he-
minute,
He
and-
said he
But
feels-
said, Ree says, well, I can't marry him because he don't believe in hell. And said, Ree's mother said, well, go ahead and marry him. Between the two of us, we can convince him there is one.
And she did.
Yeah, I don't think that was
And he
a
said,
problem
if
for
I
Nanny.
had known that y'all were going to get married that night, I'd have never said that joke.
He, but he thought you were? I mean, he,
He wasn't for sure about anything, and he did.
Because I want to get him out of my house.
So what was your initial salary?
Yeah.
Tell you, what'd you want?
$25 a week.
But y'all bought a house for $2,500, correct?
What Daddy gave us, moving.
But I mean, wasn't it?
2,000.
Okay,
Well,
well,
An entire
House
house
and
for
lot on the lake.
$2,000.
Wait, so $25 a week?
Yeah.
So when did you
Waterfront
learn to cook? That's
property.
what I want to know.
2,000.
When did I learn?
Some-
the most important part.
When I started dating Judy, Ree Ree was a good cook.
Right.
So somewhere between then.
Well,
and
I
then.
had to learn.
But $25 a week, and what year was that?
1943. We paid $8 a week for an apartment. When we moved out of the house, we moved to an apartment. And I walked from over the railroad track right over there to the apartment to work every morning to go to my office.
And Bill lived with us.
Bill was,
He moved in with
I
us.
don't know how old, wasn't
Russ lived with me and Jared for a little while
But
too.
we had a rubber fan, and Bill slept on a half bed or something we had there.
Hey,
And had that rubber fan in it.
You did.
We didn't have air conditioning, there wasn't no air conditioning back then. And Bill would get his head and his feet in that fan. And it had a rubber blade so it wouldn't tear his feet.
We called it rubber neck.
Why was he living with you?
He just wanted to stay with us.
Well,
He loved Russell. I mean, he was just like
Nenny
a
had sent him to
brother.
military school.
How old was everybody?
Yeah, I imagine Russell and Ray were better than
So
Ninny
you
and
were
Alfie.
17 then? So
Bill
he
was,
was how old?
Bill was probably
12.
10, 11, 12.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
So he
oh
hadn't-
wait,
he hadn't gone to military school.
No.
Yeah,
no.
He
Okay.
went-
Okay, I didn't
Yeah.
realize he was that much younger
And he
than
was
you.
allowed to move out of his house?
Yeah, really. How did Ninny and Alfie feel about that?
Yes, it can.
Robert and I used to get up when I was a kid. I'm talking about 10, 12 years old. And I lived a half mile from the store that way, and I had a cousin live this way, the other over there, half a mile. I'd get up in the morning and I wore a khakis. That's all I'd have on. And I'd stay gone all day long, and the folks didn't care. I'd come home at night.
They'll call
It'd be
CPS
dark.
on you for that now.
We'd go off, stay in the woods, and steal
There wasn't a whole
watermelon,
bunch of
eat
stuff they
pears
could get
or
into.
something all day, or
I mean,
go to somebody's
I
house
did
and
the
eat.
same thing. I disappeared.
That's what kids did.
I had an old stripped down car when I was 14. I'd get in that car early in the morning.
I had a 98 Oldsmobile.
Go
when I was
down through
14.
Canyon, and they'd hear me coming, and they'd all run out of the house and jump on the car. We'd be gone all day.
I had an 84 Chevy Cheyenne at 13.
Mama
4-wheel
had-
drive with a
I
lift
don't
kit.
think they ever knew where
So
we
my
were.
daughter takes 2 steps out the front door.
Right.
Kristen's like, "Where'd you go?"
Right.
You know,
She's got a
you two-
GPS on her at
you
all
did. There
times.
wasn't no meaning. You didn't ever hear of anything like that. It wasn't nothing. They could go everywhere they wanted to.
Oh, no, I didn't. 'Cause we had too many folks there at the house.
Let me
They
tell
didn't
you-
want me in the kitchen.
Oh, that's right. You had Zella.
How far
and-
was this place from where Nene lived?
But, well, it's,
Oh,
Less than a mile.
half a mile.
Oh, half a mile.
It was Nenny's house
And then the railroad track. You remember the
to
railroad track?
Callion Lake.
Okay.
We,
And then-
we,
When
When
you
you say
didn't go
Denny's
over the
house, is it
railroad.
the house that I know.
You go to the
Yes.
railroad and
That
turn
was-
left, go
that's
that
where
way
she
to
grew up.
Cadillac, down Jed Road.
That's
Oh,
the house
okay.
they lived in?
And then,
So you were not far.
oh, well, no, really.
no.
Wow.
Nowhere in
Bill would
Florida.
walk back and forth the house down there, see.
Wait, maybe it was
Nowhere
back
as
in
far in
60.
Canyon.
Now, let me tell you, the maddest we ever got to during that period of time. We had stamps, ration stamps. If you wanted sugar, you had to have a ration stamp. Everything you had to buy, you had to have a stamp. And we collected those stamps in the country. It was my job to take those stamps and we banked them just like money. I'd add up all these stamps and put them in the bank, and I had 10,000 stamps. Truck come in, grocery truck, and I had to write him a check for 5,700 stamps. That's the way we worked them, things like that. Now stamps run out; they expired today, but we had 5 or 6, 7 days to get them in the bank. So all these blacks would come in, and their stamps would expire. We'd tear them out and put them in our pile. Then we could have anything we wanted to buy. The most expensive things were like hamburger. Pineapple was, it's just out of the world what a can of pineapple would cost.
52
And,
52
stuff like
what?
that, but-
52 what?
Stamps.
Okay.
And I come home one night, Ree had pineapple salad and something else, had about 3 things.
That's all I could.
And I said, how many stamps did you use? Like it made a difference. And she got mad.
And that was the last time Granddaddy ever complained about how much money she spent.
Pineapple salad was just one of the things I learned to do. So we ate
We
a
had to
lot.
have pineapple.
We ate a lot of pineapple salad till I learned how to do something else.
Cheaper.
We had this apartment, Miss Hoover's apartment, he called it, and there's a box on that end, and then a table here, and chairs over here. And that box was our pantry. You raised up the lid, and you had all these stuff in it. And Alvy would bring us canned stuff from out the bill. He'd get off the log deck every day and go up to the sawmill to stay at the commissary before we come home, see. And he'd bring us cans of stuff and that kind of stuff.
Cause he knew Bill was with us.
Feeding 3.
But I got a cookbook at my wedding shower.
Oh, you
Okay,
had a
when was
wedding
that?
shower?
Okay, so you
When
tell
was the
everybody,
wedding?
and now it's out in the open. Somebody decides, oh, maybe we better give her a
Between
shower.
second and third
It was
period.
gonna be a surprise down Miss Hoover's screened in little porch thing. And I wasn't supposed to know anything about it.
Who did it?
Well, Sissy, Lee Anthony, gave me the shower. Sissy came to the house and said, come on, let's go riding around. I said, I don't wanna go riding around right now. And she said, yeah, come on. I said, let's go downtown. And I kept saying, I don't want to. I was doing something else.
She was trying to get
Finally, she
you.
said, well, I gotta tell you, they're giving you a shower if I can get you there. I said, oh, okay. She said, and you better act surprised. So I got in the car.
And
Here, I acted surprised. We got down there and there was God.
Did you just break the secret
Everybody
right now?
Italian came and had to give.
Back then, they'd have a shower, and it took me 4 hours to get all the stuff, all the
And you got those dishes and those Chantilly glasses.
What dishes?
No,
real?
that's Nanny's. That's Nanny's dishes.
Those aren't the dishes you
Uh-uh.
got?
Those are
okay.
Those
No.
were Nanny's.
You said for the record, though.
Yeah, let's be clear.
Clear it
Well,
up
let's
right
just
now.
be clear about that.
Well, no, I really didn't.
Rich, did you get those or nannies? Did you
When I got my cookbook.
He's going to be editing
I
that part
started
out
learning.
now.
Yeah, I'll
Hey,
edit it out.
That's
Okay.
when I started learning.
You wasn't talking about
Did
it.
y'all hear what Jay McCallum said? Y'all were forward-looking people.
You,
But not when they were.
I mean, do you know any forward-looking 17-year-olds? Because I know.
Yeah, so when did y'all become forward looking?
no.
About the time Ree Ree got pregnant, I know.
Well, I didn't think Ree Ree ever was.
So,
So I
you
remember.
woke up one day and said, uh-oh.
No, I know what happened. I've
got-
heard this
I've
story
got to deal
before.
with
Were you
this
there?
draft situation, or what?
Well, I had registered. Everybody had read when 18 years. I registered,
We still do.
and I was working at the cattle lumber company. And unbeknown to me, they got me a 6-month deferment where I couldn't be drafted for 6 months because I was in an industry that was vital to the war effort and so forth. But then at the end of 6 months, I had to go for an examination. I got a card that says you've been physically fit to serve in the Navy, including the Marine Corps and the Coast Guard. And the Marines and the Coast Guard. So I left going to the Navy
Where did you get the examination? Was it in El Dorado?
at El Dorado.
Okay.
Then I went to Little Rock going into the Navy. I left, goodbye, I'm gone.
Was that a sad situation when he
Yeah,
said
it was.
goodbye?
Well, I
Yeah.
caught a
And that
bus
was a
out of
big-
El Dorado there. and a
That
bunch
was a
of-
big deal, I would guess.
That's a
Oh,
huge
yeah.
deal.
You caught a bus and they hauled us to Little Rock. We got in the room in Little Rock and there were 10 of us in the room. Said, we need 2 of you to go to the Marines. Who's going? Nobody moved. He said, you and you, come on, Adams and some
First
agency.
names
Yeah.
on the list.
So I got in the Marine Corps, and that's how I got in the Marine Corps.
I thought you were
Random.
going to ask her when she found out she was pregnant because I know that story.
We don't need to get into
The
details.
only thing that we had,
It's funny. Ninny
we
said
had
something. It
started
was
in
funny.
Little Rock and the road to San Diego, to the Marine Corps base. We went to LA, and then caught an actual milk train going to San Diego.
Milk train.
Stopped every town and picked up milk cans, milk.
And you guys just happened to
We sat up there all night long.
Adams, milk, get it.
Between Little Rock and San Diego?
I never heard
No.
that story.
From
Milk
LA.
Los
San
Angeles and
Diego,
San Diego.
Oh,
Now we rode a freight train. We had a cattle car, they call them. They take these box cars and clean them out and put racks on them, beds, cots things, pack them up.
But wait a second. So you left El Dorado, went to Little Rock, and then Little Rock you went to San Diego. Meanwhile, you're sitting in Cali and don't know where he is.
No, you don't know where I am.
Well, why didn't you fax her or
Yeah.
email
Are you
her?
on Facebook? Were you on Facebook?
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 from
I
Little
think a
Rock
pigeon
to
with
LA
no time
and
in
then
its
LA
foot
San
might have
Diego.
worked
How much
better.
time was that?
I
In the
don't.
post office. No,
I mean,
no.
Well, did you
really-
sleep
Several
on?
days.
A few
Couple
days.
of days,
So when you
but we
stayed,
didn't have no beds. We didn't sleep.
so
Were
on
you
the way
train
there,
thinking, it can only get better.
so how many Marriotts did you stay in on the way to California?
Did you accumulate Marriott points?
Well, what I'm going to tell you now, the Marines.
Hilton Rewards.
There was one Pullman on the train. The Marines had it. The rest of them, these box cars, and the Navy and the Army going into them, they slept in them box cars. And what I'm talking about, it's like a box car going the railroad track. We pull the doors back and they got beds in there.
But at that point, you had they cut your hair yet? Had they done? So you're just a normal person.
Civilian.
I tell they had my
Civilian.
To
clothes.
this point.
I tell they had me clothes on that thing.
But there were people on the train that were military. Oh,
Not yet.
I tell
so you didn't have any
We got
introduction
to Los Angeles and we got off there in the train depot at the time and got on this milk train, literally milk train, picking up milk, and went to San Diego. Took us all night long.
Sounds like he's making
I said, well, we'll get to go to
It
bed.
does.
We didn't get to go to bed.
When you pulled in, they said, "Go line up."
And Ree Ree doesn't know where you are. If the United States government kidnapped my husband, I would throw a fit.
Well,
Like you
not
would
only-
not
Things are different back
believe.
then.
she knew I wasn't too far off,
Okay.
but I went 18 months and she didn't know where I was.
Oh.
See, we didn't call. Now we had a lady at our church. She'd go home and call her husband, her son in Afghanistan, and
Right.
talk to him.
Right.
Well, I'll be gone 2 days. I'm going out,
Yeah.
and I won't be able to talk to you for 2
Right.
days.
That would
2
be
days,
nice.
come back, and I'm
Yeah,
fine.
right. Wouldn't it?
And Barry,
I am
when-
not
when
cut
he
out for
left,
military
I got my
life
first
thing.
job.
He left to go to
He
Little
left
Rock.
to go to,
Wait, is this
he
what
said,
you're?
I don't know. And she was from Tulsa.
I've seen
Oklahoma.
movies.
Yeah, that start
Like
like
that.
that.
So-
yeah.
We've got a room together. And I said, I'm going out to the base and,
So you're planning just to walk up and just go to the door and go, "Hey, I'm looking for Russell. Can someone
I
help
guess
me?"
that's what I did. I don't know.
Right? You didn't know she was.
And your parents thought that was a good idea?
I didn't ask them.
You just said I'm
She's a
going.
She was a
married
married
woman.
woman.
This was standard during that period of time.
Just to
There
get.
were people all over the United States were doing this.
But see,
This-
it was-
this-
I've seen
this
the
was
movies.
war.
Yeah.
during the day, I didn't have anything to do, so I was walking there.
Wait.
Plaza.
When you saw Daddy, how did you find Daddy?
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I don't either.
We had to communicate some with you.
I-
Wait,
I
y'all
had
remember
to.
everything else. How do you not remember that?
Well, because it's a
Well,
tiny detail of your life,
Is
and they're
the
nine.
plaza
That's been
still
70
there?
years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
The plaza.
Yeah, it was the main part of San Diego. And I was walking on that street and there were some stairs that went up to a studio. And I decided I'd just walk up there and see what was up there. And there was a woman there.
Margot.
Do you ever have any desire to come back and see if you can find all this
I
stuff?
was gonna say
You can't find it. I couldn't even recognize
Well, you
Marine
can't
Corps.
find it if you live here.
I've been there.
You gotta come visit.
When
and
I
find
saw
it.
that woman, she said, I'm trying to find somebody where Bill worked in a dark studio before. And I said,
And you said, as a matter of
As
fact,
As a matter of
I said,
fact.
yes, I have. Well, that's why I went up the stairs, because it was a studio up there. And I said, yeah. And she said, would you like a job?
wait, this is on your trip to visit.
Had you
No.
seen? Had
No,
you
she
seen
said
Daddy?
they
Had
Had you met Daddy yet?
Yeah,
Had I met you?
yeah.
Wait,
Okay.
so
But
on
I've
the trip
been
out
looking.
there, you intended to stay out there.
Yeah.
That wasn't a visit trip.
You had a suitcase.
So everything that you owned, you took on that bus.
You had a suitcase.
Yeah.
Clothes.
I was
Wow.
going to stay. But she gave me a job, and I was in the back with a German man. His name was Hans.
The first
Of
place,
course it
this,
was.
they went up here
It was in the
stairs
Matter Fred's.
to the second level of that hotel. And right here, there was a room right there, and we got that room. That's where we lived.
I lived.
There was a bathroom back here.
And you
she
had
lived
to
in-
stay at the base, obviously.
Well, I got 2 nights out of 3 Liberty after I got off into radio school.
Was it the
Okay.
base by the airport?
Yeah.
Right there?
Well, I don't know where the airport is.
You were at Pendleton, aren't you?
No, San Diego base.
Okay.
Marine Corps
You-
base, San Diego.
Yeah, okay, right by the airport.
Wait a
Right
minute.
now, when you take off from the airport, it is literally right,
It's right there.
You can see them running as you're taking off.
Okay.
He would bring boys from the base because they needed pictures to send home to their family. So I'd get the man
Entrepreneur.
to test film.
Entrepreneur right
So
here.
when they test the film, they'd do him the boy, and then when I'd make the pictures, I'd cut him off. And
Make
just
bus-
have them, and I'd enlarge them and give them to them, and they would send them to their
That was
folks.
nice.
She created Photoshop.
Yeah.
Ree Ree invented Photoshop.
Ree Ree did Photoshop. There you go, Ree Ree.
Base. We had a phone in our barracks there in the hall. And he'd call and somebody answered, I want Jim Blow. They holler, Jim Blow, telephone. Well, Reed would call and they'd say, well, where are you from, honey? And hear the way she talked.
Yeah.
And they never called me. I wouldn't know that she'd ever called. And he called one day and got this fella and talking to him and told him that I was in the radio school up there to get out. And they took the top 2 and put them in high speed school. And he said that, you know, that I wasn't going to be in high speed school and so forth. And said, what do you do? Well, he was sergeant somebody. So you must be mighty dumb. You in his class. I was a private. I said, well, honey, I'm the teacher. That time was 3 of us went to high speed school.
Honey child, I'm his teacher. 'Cause I was telling him, well, they not gonna keep him.
Who wants
They gonna
cake?
keep 2. And
I
they
can't.
gonna
I
send
can't
him
either.
overseas and all that.
gets cake.
I can't.
In the room. And I never,
that's
I
aggravating.
copied news one time. I could work a light. We had a building on Kijijima that we didn't tear up. The Air Force didn't shoot it down, didn't tear it up at all. Tore up the whole island, but left that one building for the command post. But we got on top of it and built a hut and had a yard arm, and then had a bay out there, and had ships there that was stationed there that was in command with Marianas Island, like Guam, Marianas Island. And then they'd send messages there through us to the
But back
headquarters.
on San Diego, though, before you got your orders to go over, and you knew you weren't gonna go because your high speed school,
I didn't think it was
and
gonna
then what happened, I mean, there was a day that you got orders,
be.
and you had to come home and
Had
tell
to go to
Ree Ree,
Pendleton, had to go to Pendleton.
and you had to tell Ree Ree,
I got transferred to Pendleton, seeing Reed left to come
I
home.
left the same day he did.
Okay, so when you got transferred to Pendleton, you knew that you were going off
We were
somewhere
going
in
out
the
there to
Pacific
get
Theater.
outfitted with our own
And so
CCTV.
Ree Ree's
Bad
going back to
day?
Cali and stay with
I
him.
caught a
was
train.
that a bad day when you came home and they told you and that you had to go tell Ree Ree?
Well, Ree Ree found out she
We
was
were expecting.
pregnant on her way home.
It was to be expected. You never knew from one day to the next what.
How long did you stay at Pendleton for?
10 days, something like that.
And then you were shipped off to.
And they brought us back to San Diego, put us on board ship.
But I didn't know where he was all that time, because I got on the train, and I got off the train in Little Rock. And you know this story, don't you?
I do.
What
This is
story?
one of my favorites. I don't know why I
What
like this
story?
story so
Tell,
much.
tell it one more time.
Mama met me there. Mama and Jane McConnell, an uncle of mine, met me in Little Rock
Wait, so how long were you in San Diego for?
from April until the next January.
Oh, long time.
Yeah, so almost a year.
And when I got off the train, Mama was there to meet me. I started walking towards her, and she looked at me and she said, "You're just as pregnant as hell."
She said that?
Yeah.
So she knew before you?
And I said, "No, I'm not." And she
What?
said,
Didn't you
"Oh,
pass
yeah."
out? Wasn't it that you
Yeah,
passed
I
out?
fainted on
And
the
that's-
plane, and 2 Marines brought me to.
Yes, and I think that's what made Nenny, that's the way you told me the story, is that you had passed out on the train, Nenny found out about that, and then she said, well, you're pregnant as hell.
So you on the train the whole way, or did you guys stop along the way?
I was on the train. You changed.
You had,
How many hours was that train ride?
I know that it's 17 from Jackson, Mississippi to Chicago.
Yeah, but
Illinois
they
in a
used to be
modern time.
slower, probably.
Well, you changed trains somewhere, but I forgot where.
I rode a train from Oakland, California to Chicago. I discharged in Chicago. We started out in Oakland, got up through here, and went up into the mountains. And we got into the mountains somewhere up there, and just tracks and big engines. And they tied about 3 engines on the front end of the bus, and through these mountains we went. And all of a sudden we come here and went down, and just straight out across the flat bar you could see. I don't know where it is.
You got to Denver.
I don't know where
Right
it
by
is.
Denver. It goes
Right.
boom.
And I rode that train. We went through some tunnels. And of course we closed up thing, and these are coal burners now. Now these were coal burners. And that smoke was coming through that. And it's getting in our cars.
Yeah.
And of course we had our face up against the glass trying to see daylight. As soon as we saw daylight, raised the windows up. Then they washed the train. It sprayed everything.
So when you all hear people complaining about how tough they have it, and how they don't have enough money, and income inequality,
Well,
and
I think about money
everyone
when it
needs their
goes.
fair shot and all that stuff.
Can you not turn this into a political
Yeah,
race?
really,
I don't really.
What do y'all think about that?
Gretchen, please.
What do we think about what?
Oh my God.
Let's change, yeah. we're
Okay,
gonna-
sorry. When people complain about how it's tough,
It's relative.
I don't listen to people complaining out there.
Ree made, I don't know, very little money there. Time we paid the rent, you know what expenses we had there. We didn't have no money. And we had a little money saved up at home, and we spent it, drew it out of the bank, spent it. And when I need some money, I go down to the bank and write a check and they cash it. I left Wetuck Guam, and Guam on a ship back to Oakland, California, and I headed for the bank hard as I could go. But I hadn't had a penny. Nobody had the money. And got down to the bank and they wouldn't write it, they wouldn't cash a check. Cause I was getting out and they couldn't get me. When I was going overseas, they knew where I was. See,
Yeah.
they wouldn't cash a check, so I didn't have any money. And I went from Wetuck to Chicago without any money whatsoever.
But were they gonna feed you and everything
Oh
anyway?
yeah, they fed you.
But listen, this
But I sold my anchors, the globe and things off my
Right.
uniform for 50 cents.
Ah,
And I,
that's kind of heartbreaking. I wish you got to keep that.
but I sold them.
I know.
Some, we come into the station one night, we all got out, we could get out on the platform, and these folks said, what branch of the service you in? They'd never seen any Marines. And I sold my anchors, globe and anchors off my uniform I kept.
Wow. What'd you do the money?
For 50
That's why
50
big
cents,
baby,
I guess I blew it.
They bought another prostitute.
Some more
That's why I
wine.
read that the Marines were trained, and Pendleton was built to train Marines to go to the Pacific for the purpose island hopping across the islands until Japan. And we were ready for the entire Marine Corps and most of the Army after victory in Europe to invade Japan.
We were
Did you know
the 3rd
that?
Marine.
Did you know that?
Not at the time. I found out later on, I got a book at home, that our PX put out the fund that was in the PX, they were. And I got a book there. But the 3rd Marine Division, we were to hit the southern tip of the island of Kyushu, to main island Japan. It would have been bloody. It would have been worse than Iwo Jima.
Yeah, it would have been.
It
We'd have lost. I mean, it was going to be 500,000 people.
yeah, there ain't no telling.
Okay,
And,
here we go.
People have a question about the atomic bomb. I don't have no question about it.
You supported that?
Oh,
Saved a ton of lives.
save my butt.
Literally, and there would have been no damage.
and it saved Dana's butt, and Lauren's butt,
Yep.
Yeah.
and baby Lauren's butt.
Yep.
Barry White's butt.
It really
No, you already coming out.
Oh, that's true.
I was fine.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, that's
y'all's
right.
branch was okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, 'cause remember I was pregnant as hell.
I do remember that.
I would have been.